Hey, how's it going, guys? I was wondering, had you guys ever heard of Loctite 592? I had never heard of it, and the reason why I'm making this video is not necessarily to sell you on some of it, although I do have an affiliate link down in the pinned comments, and I recommend you come to it and at least read the comments from the people that are professionals that use this stuff as well. Is that it might really save you a headache on a fitting that's leaking. It could be gas, could be transmission fluid, could be a rear differential fluid, like in my case, yada, 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 so on and so forth. So let me just show you how I used this stuff here the other day. So the other day, well, of course, if you watch my channel, you know that I had a bear time to get this differential plug out of here. And so what I've noticed a little bit over time is it's just not much. As you can see, it's just teeny bit wet, like right here in this area right here, where there's a little bit of seepage. So I decided to look around and see what I could find in terms of thread sealant. So let me fast forward a little bit. So I ran across this Loctite 592. So anyway, I took it on. I'm going to take it out. I'm using my favorite little tool that I have now for this. This is a 3/8 pipe plug socket, which works fantastically well with such plugs here. So let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit. Now look inside of these threads here. You see how they're not so bad off, but again, you see you got a couple of threads in here that look really good and a couple that really don't. And as you can see, I'm actually gonna stick my finger in there, and there's actually going to be a piece that comes out, as you see that. And I'm not sure if that's from the old plug or that's from the actual threads themselves that's inside of the differential. But either way, I think that the threads a little bit, not totally a shot. I think some of them are bad. So I decided to get this and give it a shot. All right, so let's move forward here in the video. All right, so here, wait a minute, I gotta go forward. I forgot I had to get up and go. Look, you see me squeezing. I didn't know you had to actually cut the tip off. So anyway, yeah, I'm still squeezing, by the way. I thought it was hilarious. I'll leave that little blooper there. All right, so I finally go get my dikes. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off here. I had to get the money shot on the camera of just cutting it off, trying to get in focus here because I did make a short out of this video as well. So anyway, I'm wiping everything down, just getting it cleaned up. And now I'm just going to take a little bit and put around it. By the way, you don't have to fully clean this. I mean, you want it clean, but it's better if it has nothing on it. But you'll see in a minute why you don't necessarily have to have it like 100% clean, free of, say, rear axle fluid like I did, for example. But there is a primer. I'm not going to talk about the primer in this video. You can research that on your own. There's a specific Loctite primer that you can use with this. It's a spray that makes this go a little bit, this makes the cure time a little faster. Anyway, I do all of this, and let's see. I'm just putting it around the pipe the way I know this ain't exactly right because it says you're not supposed to put it on the end thread, but hey, whatever. I'm just doing what I got to do here. And let me go back to that again. And so anyway, I finally get it back in there, and there you have that. And let's go keep going forward here and wipe it down a little bit more. And let's see what we got here. And finally, got to show you the money shot with the Walmart. This ain't Walmart brand, but the non-chlorinated brake spray, the Pyroyal. I like this brake cleaner here. It's not that bad in terms of smell, and it works pretty well to be non-chlorinated. Of course, it don't work like the chlorinated stuff, but pretty good stuff either way. But anyway, that's the final product here. I believe I wipe it down a little bit. So enough of this talk. Let's get back to talking about this Loctite 592 and exactly how does it work and what you can use it for. And this may work well in the shop as well, and I'll show you what I mean. All right, so let's go back. First of all, let's read the front cover. Let's analyze the front cover just a little bit. Up top, it says OEM specified. You see that little yellow symbol. If you read the comments on this page below, and actually, I've actually seen this in service data when reassembling some engine parts. They like, for example, GM, Ford, anybody inside of their actual service data, they actually call for Loctite 592 to be put on threads. So This is the stuff here you're looking for that. Now, it does say a lot of information on the front, but I think it's so small you can't read it. So let's look on the back and see exactly what it says. Now, I really like how they said these specific things. I'm just going to read this first paragraph here. Locks and seals threaded fittings up to 2 inches in diameter, preventing leakage from vibration, extreme pressure, thermal cycling, and automotive fluids. Used for oil and coolant lines, fuel fittings, rear axle fill plug. I was like, wow, how specific can you be to say a rear axle fill plug? Brake and power steering fittings, head bolts. Now that's another big one. Head bolts into 3 holes, or PSI sending units and sensors. So again, you may have this one little seepage, one little problem with your car at home. This stuff right here, while it may not be a miracle worker, it may resolve an issue that might be pestering that, you otherwise just can't deal with it without doing a lot of work or spending a lot of money. And if you work in a shop, this stuff could just come in so handy. So like just small, whenever say you do a new power steering pump, for example, you could put a little bit of this on the fitting just to make sure that there ain't no leaks. Or if you put together a new something, whatever the case may be, it could be a differential plug, because technically a differential plug is a pipe fitting. But anyway, that's another story. But you can use this stuff to put on stuff to make sure that, like coolant sensors, make sure no leak. You put just a little bit around it, boom, you can be very confident you ain't gonna have no leaks from that. So anyway, then let's hop over to the Hinkle website. Hinkle, from what I gather, from my little research, Hinkle owns Loctite. All right, so you see here, this is a 50. Oh yeah, by the way, let me go back here. This is a very small tube. This right here is only six milliliters in this tube, 0.2 ounces. But on the Hinkle website, they have the 50 ml tubes. So this might be good for a shop. Over here on the right, it says for industrial use only, not intended for consumer sale or use, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? But still, this is a 50 ml tube. I mean, a person in your home, 50 mils of this would be kind of ridiculous to have. I mean, you'd never ever use it all. But anyway, if you work for a shop, this would be a great deal. And in fact, let me show you this really quick. If you don't want to order from here, they actually sell the 50 mil tubes on Amazon. There's a few more dollars, but again, I'm almost for certain if you order from here, you're probably going to pay shipping included. Here it's just $27. And well, it's the same stuff. I'll put a link to both of these in the description. Now let's go back to the Hinkle website. If you scroll down a little bit, they have this under these documents. They have this first document right here, the technical document, the Loctite 592. This is the English PDF. I've already got that open. So let's open this up. Let's read a few things from here. This is quite interesting stuff here. First of all, here they reference a lot of pipe threads. Right over here, you look to the right, it said the high lubricating properties of Loctite 592 prevent galling on pipe threads and fittings. It will provide immediate low pressure sealing and allow the readjustments of fittings shortly after assembly. After 72 hours, the joint will be sealed to pipe burst pressure. So again, they gave you some torque specs here. Now, I'm assuming all this stuff here actually deals with pipe fittings, because they're talking about the 3/8 NTP steel pipe tees and plugs, so on and so forth. But let's get down to the automotive part we're mainly interested in here. Chemical and solvent resistance. Now, don't forget, all of these chemicals here are aged under these conditions and tested at 22C. So actually, they put this stuff in the presence of motor oil at 87 degrees C, unleaded gas, phosphor ester, isopropanol, air, distilled water, automatic transmission fluid, and brake fluid, all in the presence of these fluids here, automotive fluids, in the presence of 87C, which is very hot. It's probably about 190 Fahrenheit. And then they tested this at 22C. So basically, this stuff is really well at sealing off against any fitting that will come in contact with a fluid, for any automotive fluid, basically. All right, so what else does it say here? Let's scroll down a little bit. I'll show you few more cool things about this stuff here. Okay, not for being used on plastics, just for metal threads. I mean, that should be kind of obvious here. Okay, here we go. Step number 5 here. Properly tighted tightened fittings will seal instantly to moderate pressures. For maximum pressure resistance and solvent resistance, allow the product to cure for a minimum of 24 hours. So if you're using this in an automotive application, basically it's going to seal pretty instant. So say if you was in a shop and you use this stuff and the customer comes and pick the car up in 3 or 4 hours, you could probably safely say the car is going to be fine. But if you really wanted to be sure, you could tell them just to leave it there overnight or something like that. I have my truck sitting in my garage now. I'm gonna let it sit for a few days before I drive it. It is absolutely bone dry. I can tell you right now, this stuff absolutely works. If you have, again, I'm not gonna say it on really bad strip threads, but if you got a little bit of thread damage like you saw in the video earlier, this stuff here will plug that leak for you, and you can also easily undo it. Now let's take a look here in the next part where it says for disassembly. Remove with standard hand tools. Number 2 says where hand tools do not work because of excessive engagement length or large diameters over, say, 1 inch, apply localized heat approximately 250 C and disassemble while it's hot. So 250 C, that means that you can just use regular propane in the blue bottle instead of using the MAP Pro if you wanted to, for example. So anyway, this stuff is amazing. And one last thing I'll say about this is that from what I don't know where I read it. I think I read it. It may be good for like 2 years or so from manufacturing date, but don't really quote me on that. But one thing you want to do is make sure you store this at an optimal temperature. Basically, don't let it freeze and don't let it, it just basically need to be stored at room temperature, or 21C is pretty cool. Actually, that's like, that's the optimal storage temperature, but 28C would probably be, I'd imagine, about 90 degrees or so. So if you got this stored inside of a garage in the summertime, it's probably going to be fine because my garage only gets around 90 in the summer. But if you really wanted to make the stuff last, just keep it at room temperature and it'll last for a very long time. This would be probably quite important if you got a 50 mil tube. So with that said, this has been a quick video on Loctite 592. I hope you enjoyed it. I think this stuff is fantastic. It's worked for me. And click my affiliate link in the description if you want to read the comments here that a lot of other people that use it. And also, if you want to also use my affiliate link to buy it, you can help the channel out that way. Anyway, take care, you guys, and I'll keep bringing you guys more useful videos.